Hey College and Career Success, welcome to week 7 of the semester. This is your week 7 assignment video. So before I jump in, it's just a good point to go ahead and remind you of your workshop assignment. We are almost halfway through the course, so you really want to make sure that if you have not already registered, you are taking a look at my workshop video, signing up for your workshop, and then sending me the certificate of completion once you have attended that workshop. Because even though you have until week 16, you really want to make sure that you're getting that done. I know a few of you have already done that already, but this is just kind of another reminder because we are moving so quickly through the semester. Alright, so in week 7, we are in chapter 5, so if you want to make sure you go ahead and spend some time in chapter 5. The chapter has to do with academic reading and note-taking, which is really quite imperative for all college students. So let's go ahead and take a look at what you're doing. So this is going to go back to what you're used to. Week 6 was a little bit of break from the normal, but we're back in week 7 with a typical discussion forum. So original response by Wednesday for your attendance. Your chapter 5 assignment is due Sunday, along with your 2 responses to classmates, and then your chapter 5 quiz. So back to kind of a normal week, if you will. So I'm going to scroll down, week 7 assignments. Here is your discussion prompt. So as always, again, original response by Wednesday, and then responded to classmates by Sunday. So here's your prompt. Imagine that you were given a chapter to read in American history about the Gettysburg Address. Write down what you already know about this historic document. How might thinking through prior knowledge help you better understand the text? So let me be clear that when I grade your discussion forum prompt, I am not grading you on how much you know about the Gettysburg Address. Go ahead in your prompt response, go ahead and just jot down what you do know. Do you remember any of the names, the dates, the locations, anything like that? And honestly, if you need to do a quick Google search to refresh your memory, I'm okay with that. Again, I'm not grading you on how much you do or do not know about the Gettysburg Address. You're going to jot down, even if it's just like a sentence, that's okay. The real meat of the prompt is right here. How might thinking through this prior knowledge help you better understand the text? Because Chapter 5 talks about the importance of prior knowledge as it relates to reading and comprehension. And so that is what I am getting to, is thinking about how what you know about a particular topic is going to help you learn more about it, further your information. So that is what you want to focus on. So yes, spend like a sentence, maybe 2, if you remember quite a bit, about what you remember about this topic, and then really focus on how prior knowledge helps you as a reader, helps you understand what you're reading, helps you understand new information, making connections. So that's what you want to hit on. And again, you're looking at around 150 words or more. I am seeing posts continuously the last couple weeks that are falling very short. We're talking like 70 words or 90 words. So we want to make sure we're hitting as close to possible as at 150, and then responded to classmates by Sunday. And a response is more than just excuse me, like I agree or I disagree. You are going into a little bit more I'm so sorry, a little bit more detail on those responses. Okay. Alright, then you have a chapter 5 assignment. It's kind of a 2-parter. So the first thing you're going to read is the article. So you're going to click on the 7 deadly sins. It's going to open up into a PDF. And it's just like 2.5-ish pages. It's not terribly long. It's a little dated now, but I still think it's kind of an interesting read. So you're going to go ahead and read this article. That's the first thing. And so you want to employ some of those active reading strategies that Chapter 5 does talk about. So if you haven't spent time in Chapter 5, it's encouraging you to be an active reader as you go through. So read the article. Then you're going to pull up the actual assignment here. And it's going to walk you through a series of questions. So this is all based on this article here. What is the thesis and where is it located? So a thesis is a summary, a 1-sentence summary of a piece of text. So it's not like a paragraph long, it's not a word or phrase, it's a complete sentence that tells you what the article is going to be about. So where do you think the thesis is? And is it in the first paragraph? Is it at the end? Is it in the middle? Or if you have to put it into your own words, you can tell me it's implied. How would you describe the author's tone and why? Is this person serious? Are they sarcastic? Are they positive? Are they negative? What's their tone regarding this particular topic, and why do you think so? How effective is their argument? They are making an argument here. Do you think they are doing a good job? Why or why not? Again, there's all these follow-up questions. What led you to this? Explain your answer. So make sure you are going into detail. What do you think the weaknesses are of this particular article? maybe relating back to their argument. What are their strengths? Do you agree or disagree with the author, and why or why not? Again, the topic is the sins of students, so you can already kind of tell what the topic is. Do you agree or disagree? And then if you had to come up with a rebuttal, what points would you make? What kind of counter arguments would you make? And then what are some deadly sins of teachers and professors? So whenever you're done, you're going to go over here and you're going to, I'm just starting to type so that there you go, with your changes. If you just download it or do without your changes, you're going to upload a blank document. So you want to make sure you do with your changes. I'm also noticing more and more people submitting assignments from their phones, and that is when I'm having a hard time opening anything. For whatever reason, your phone is not going to communicate to Blackboard, and it's going to have a file that I cannot access. So please make sure that you are submitting these things from an actual computer device, not a phone, because it's getting very difficult to open files that way. Okay, so you want to make sure, again, you read and put in your responses there, save and submit, and drop it in that Dropbox there. The next thing is your Chapter 5 quiz. So this is another thing I would really like to touch on, is I'm still seeing some struggling students getting 2 to 5 sentences and making sure we answer all the questions. So question 1 talks about social media, like reading today versus in the past. So do you think you spend less time reading now than you did when you were younger? What kind of reading do you do on social media? And do you think this differs from the kind of reading you're required to do in college? And do you think social media has a good or bad effect on your reading professionally or academically? Question 2 talks about personal biases. Do you think that, have you ever thought about your personal biases? Do these affect what you choose to read and study? And how does that impact the way you interact with people? Question 3 specifically says on section 5.2, so I really want to make sure that we hit on this, because I sometimes have students who get confused on where they're talking about here. So in section 5.2, we're going to scroll down a little bit, and this section right here has a bunch of quotes in it. You can see it talks about Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson, George R.R. Martin, it talks about Harry Truman. So there's quotes in there from different famous figures. It says, select one of the quotes and explain what you think it means. So it's talking about from one of those famous figures, not just a random quote from anywhere in the chapter, that section in particular. This talks about Cornell, note-taking, outlining, concept mapping. It says, have you ever tried any of those? Have you used apps? What's your experience with note-taking apps? What method, out of all those talked about in the chapter, seems to fit best? Is it outlining? Is it note-taking apps? And then question 5 is like a modality question. When you want to learn something, what do you do? And why? Have you always felt that way? Do you think kind of media in general, meaning like access to videos and different type of technology, has changed your reading habits? Again, you want to make sure that you save and submit that and upload it in the Dropbox. If you submit things early enough in the week and it's not there or something's missing, I will reach out to you. Unfortunately, if you wait until like Sunday and I can't read it or get to it, I just kind of plug in the comments that I wasn't able to open it. So please make sure that you're getting your work done earlier in the week in case you're experiencing those tech issues, so you don't end up with a 0 on an assignment that you may have already completed and just you could not upload. So real quick recap, you are posting in the Chapter 5 discussion by Wednesday for week 7 attendance, responding to classmates by Sunday, and then turn in your Chapter 5 assignment where you read and respond to the questions on the 7 deadly sins, and turn in your Chapter 5 quiz. If you have any questions, reach out, let me know. Have a great week.